Max. This is AI for South Africa. Let's go.
Welcome to the revolution. There's a man I know, he's in his 60s or so, and before I met him, he used to use only WhatsApp as a messenger thing. He had a bit of a Facebook profile, but nothing major, something his grandkids opened for him. He just knew how to message on WhatsApp. And other than that, no social media, no business presence online. He had a business, but didn't exist really online, nothing. 6 weeks after he did the Help Link course with me, he was designing his own logo. He was creating social media content, running a content calendar for his business on WhatsApp and Facebook, all by himself. He had no designer, no marketing agency. It was just him and his phone. He even bought a new phone so that it was faster and more responsive so that he could get better results using ChatGPT. His words and his face when he saw what he did, it just lit me up some way. That exact moment is why I am here. Welcome to AI for South Africa, the podcast where we take AI out of the tech labs and out of the corporate boardrooms and we bring it right here to you, to your business, to your classroom, to your kitchen table, to your life. I'm Max, and in every episode, you're going to walk away with something you can actually use, today included. Let me give you a little bit of context about who I am and why I'm doing this. Not because the show is about me, but because I want you to understand where I'm coming from and why I believe so deeply in what AI can do for South Africans specifically. My first real brush with AI was back in 2016, 2017. I was working with Land Rover on a system that allowed you to order cars online. So you could order a test drive, you could put a down payment. It was the whole thing. Behind the scenes, we were building smart automations, kind of like the if this, then this system. So if the person wanted this, then the system would respond with this. There was a lot of integration, but it was nowhere near the AI that we know today. But it was the beginning of understanding that technology could work with you, not just for you. Then fast forward to when ChatGPT launched, and like most people, I didn't dive straight into it. I tried it here and there. But then when I started really getting into it, I remember thinking, sheesh, if this is how we're going to interact with technology in the future, everything is about to change. I instantly had a thought of like a Tron movie or the movie Gamer where you like transform into a digital world and you start interacting with everything. And I was hooked. Not just on using it, but by understanding it. What data is being generated? What can we learn from how people are interacting with these tools? What does it mean for small business owners in Soweto, or teachers in Limpopo, or even entrepreneurs in Cape Town who don't have a team of 10 behind them? I started consuming everything I could. Podcasts, articles, courses. I was AI jockled. And then something interesting happened. People started coming to me, my clients, my friends, my colleagues, all asking the same thing. Max, what do I do with this AI thing? What is it? How does it work? Where do you use it? And that told me something. There was a hunger, a need. Not enough voices speaking to South Africans. Not in our language. Not in our reality. Not in our story. So here's what I want to give you today. The one thing that changed everything for me and for every person I've taught. You do not need to be an AI expert. You need to become an expert at using AI. Let me say that again. You do not need to become an AI expert. You need to become an expert at using AI. That's a completely different thing. You don't need to understand how the engine works. You just need to know how to drive the car. Think about it this way. Before AI, if you were a small business owner and you needed a logo, you needed a designer. If you needed to write a proposal, you needed a strong English person, maybe a copywriter. If you needed a social media strategy, you needed a whole marketing agency. All of that costs money. All of that took time. All of that was out of reach for South African SMMEs. AI has changed that equation entirely. You now have a designer, a writer, a strategist, a financial advisor, a lawyer, a translator, even a chef. All in your pocket, on your phone, available right now, 24/7. The only thing that stands between you and the team is knowing how to ask the right questions. And that, teaching you how to ask the right questions, how to use the right tools, how to apply them to specific South African context. But that is exactly what this podcast is going to do. Let me show you what I mean with a real example. Imagine you run a small catering business in Joburg. You make great food, but you struggle with marketing. You don't know what to post, when to post, or how to write captions that actually get people to call you. Here's what you're going to do today. You're either going to do it after this episode or you're going to pause this episode and do it and then come back. You're going to open ChatGPT, Gemini, or Claude. They're all free, and you're going to type this. I run a small catering business in Johannesburg that specializes in traditional South African food. Help me create a social media content plan for 1 week on Instagram. My target audience are working professionals who want home-cooked meals delivered. That's it. That's your starting point. What comes back is a full week's worth of content ideas. What to post from Monday to Sunday, what kind of images to use, what to say, what's in your caption, what hashtags are there. All you need to do is refine it, make it your own, and you post it. That is AI working for you, not replacing you, but working for you. And it costs you nothing but a few minutes of your time. Now multiply that across your business, your quotes, your customer emails, your training material, your financial planning, your HR documents, your kids' homework. Every single one of those tasks AI can assist you with. Not perfectly and not without your input, but significantly faster, better than starting from scratch alone. That's the world that we're living in right now. And South Africa, with our resilience, our creative, our hustle, our chutzpah, we are built for this. So here's your homework for the next week. Your one action before the next episode. Open your ChatGPT, Gemini, or Claude. And if you don't have an account, you got to go and get an account. It's a must. And I want you to ask it one question about your business, your job, or your life. Just one. See what comes back. Don't think that you have to use it only in one space. If you think you can't use it in your personal space, ask it a personal question. If you're concerned about using it in a business space, ask it a business question. Push the boundaries. But just ask one. See what comes back. Don't overthink it. Just ask it something that you've been wondering about or something you're struggling with. Then I want you to notice how you feel. Does it surprise you? Does it frustrate you? Or does it spark something? Come back to the next episode and we'll go deeper. For now, just start with a conversation. So that's it for our first episode of AI in South Africa. Thank you for being here from day one. It genuinely means everything. Next, we're going to dive into one of the most practical skills you can learn right now. How to write a prompt that actually gets you what you want. And like I said, you have to know how to do this. This is a must for job seekers, promotions, all of that. If you don't know how to prompt or speak to AI, it is going to be very difficult for you to move anywhere in a business space. Because asking AI a question is one thing, but asking it the right question, that is a skill. And you need that skill moving forward in this world. And I'm going to teach you exactly how to do that with real South African business examples. Now, subscribe wherever you're listening to this podcast so you don't miss the next one. And if today's episode gave you something, anything, share it with a person who you think needs to hear it. So before I go, the other thing that I just wanted to share with you was I'm running a little experiment on my social medias for the podcast. You can find us on Instagram and on LinkedIn. And I'm running those accounts fully on AI. So the artwork, the captions, the posts, all of it AI is creating for me. It takes the information from each of the episodes that I have. I'm controlling the podcast, so it just takes pieces from the podcast and creates its own posts and that. I'm still steering the ship, but AI is doing all the day-to-day groundwork, which is what AI needs to do. This is why we have this amazing tool. And I want to see what happens. So please go follow us on Instagram and LinkedIn. See how it works. If you see something isn't flowing correctly or doesn't sound like me, let me know. It's part of the experiment. If I find this experiment doesn't work, then we adjust. That's the beauty of this space. But I wanted to let you know upfront what I was doing with the social medias, and I want to share. I don't want this podcast just to be about what I'm telling you. I must also be doing it, and we learn together. That's the point. I'm Max, and this is AI for South Africa. Let's go.
Slow breath in, night still, mind shut. Screens glow over Josie, over Cape Town. Ideas humming in the dark. New code, new dreams, new ways to live, a different kind of tea.